Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, the once forbidden city, has now opened its gates to foreigners. The Chinese continue to impose direct and often repressive rule on the region, but the city's Potala Palace remains the center of Tibetan Buddhism. The traditional seat of the Dalai Lama continues to be the destination for pilgrims who brave the long, hard journey from all corners of the region to visit their spiritual home. But for some visitors, the Potala Palace marks not the end, but the start of a journey to be undertaken to the rhythm of a very different mantra.
Our principal motivation has always been the same: to run in the most beautiful places on Earth and to find an answer to the question, what are the limits to which a human can perform? By pushing the body in extreme situations, we aim to discover to what extent we can draw on our resources.
These pilgrims are the fearless Skyrunners. For 4 years, the Peak Performance Project has taken elite groups of athletes around the world to compete in races at altitude. Their performances, especially on the ascent and descent of some of the world's most formidable mountains, have been spectacular. The Matterhorn in just over 3 hours, Mont Blanc in a little under 7. Their aim this time to run a full marathon in the shadow of the Himalayas at an altitude of 4,342 meters. An integral part of the project is the medical investigation into how the body copes in such extraordinary circumstances. Before they leave Lhasa, altitude 3,600 meters, the athletes are put through an aerobic examination or Cooper test. Under the watchful eye of Italian doctor Sergio Roy, they're fitted with heart rate monitors and tested over a hard 12-minute run. The test will determine the optimum heart rate and pace for each athlete. 32-year-old American Matt Carpenter set an astonishing record of 2 hours 56 minutes in this race 2 years ago. He has extraordinary aerobic power and can justifiably lay claim to the title of the world's fastest man at altitude. He performs best in the test, but he knows that the real examination is yet to come.
The Skyrunners are about running at high altitude for 3 hours, 26 miles. This is 2 miles, 12 minutes. You can extrapolate a little and come up with something, but anybody that relies too much on this is kidding themselves.
His compatriot, 25-year-old Danelle Ballengee, is a member of the US mountain running team and an international duathlete and triathlete. But for her, a race like this is a wholly new experience.
For me, it'll be an adventure. First time out here, it's all experimental. My goal is to finish and to be healthy when I finish.
To lower the risk of any altitude sickness, the athletes now embark on a jarring, dusty 3-day journey across Tibet to the race venue in Tingri. This is a vital period of acclimatization, but hardly the ideal build-up to a marathon. The trek also gives the team an opportunity to acclimatize to a culture still unfamiliar to most of the world. The inspiration that the athletes can draw from visiting and competing in such locations has always been an important part of the philosophy of the Skyrunning project. Inevitably, the difficulty of traveling means that such inspiration wears a little thin at times. The conditions can play havoc with such finely tuned bodies. Matt Carpenter has learned the art of remaining wholly focused on the task in hand, even though some of the catering along the route is hardly the ideal fuel for a marathon.
I started with the pear after I cleaned it. I like the oranges because they're sealed by nature. You know there's no dirt there. I'm not too sure about the chicken. I think I'll save that one.
The relief felt on arriving at the race venue in Tingri is matched by the team's appetite when presented with some locally yet expertly cooked pasta. Having carbo loaded to their heart's content, some of the athletes will spend the night on the course under canvas. Final preparations are completed, and there's also a first opportunity to meet up with 4 local runners who'll bring the field for the race up to 17. Race day. Ahead, at least 3 hours of the most daunting of physical and mental examinations. By the 5-kilometer stage, the remarkable Carpenter has already opened up a substantial lead. Even some of the runners born and bred in these conditions are suffering. Behind, Ballengee is making promising progress in her first Everest SkyMarathon. For many of the rest, their own personal walls are beginning to loom large. Dehydration, heat, reduction of oxygen levels by about 1/3 from sea level rates, loss of anaerobic power, pain. Behind Carpenter, the race for second place is unfolding. Oye Pep Sanchez of Spain has set off strongly, as has Ricardo Mejia, who lives and trains at altitude in Mexico. But there's still a very long way to go, and it feels even longer at 14,500 feet. The actual course comprises a double loop around the plain and passes through the village of Tingri. As Carpenter leaves the village, he takes the wrong route and ends up in a boggy area. He loses about 5 minutes. In addition, his error causes chaos further down the field.
Where the hell do I go?
The 5-minute loss does not unsettle the relentless American. Pu Dra of Tibet is the only casualty of the race, forced out with a knee injury. While in the race for second place, American Rob Reese has emerged ahead of Mejia. At the finish line in Tingri, local life continues largely unaffected by the astonishing performances taking place in their backyard. Only 3 hours, 6 minutes and 43 seconds after he set off, Carpenter comes home to victory, more than 20 minutes ahead of Reese in second place. Mejia finishes a further 4 minutes behind.
All in all, it's over. Can't complain about the place. Yippee, Skyrunners came out here again. Skyrunners conquered another plateau.
Danelle Ballengee finishes in 3 hours, 55 minutes and 19 seconds, smashing the women's record by over 20 minutes.
I think that might possibly have been the most hardest thing I've ever done. There was a time when I had about 9 miles to go and I was feeling kind of down and looked up at the mountains and I said, wow, just relaxed a little bit and kept going and felt better.
Astonishingly, there remained only one casualty. 12 runners completed the full marathon, while 4 could only complete a half marathon. An experience of a lifetime? Perhaps. But next month, many will be competing again at the world's highest marathon in Mexico. Catch your breath now. Transworld Sport will be there.